All right, in this unit, we're turning to issues of human nature, enormously complex and a varied set of issues. And here are the questions that we're turning to involve getting a sense for our identities, what our core capacities are, what we can expect of ourselves, how we should fundamentally evaluate our identities. This is a set of issues that has a long history. As long as there has been philosophy and as long as there has been religion, there have been views about what makes a human being the kind of being that it is. And as the science has rather developed, in addition to philosophers having views on core issues in human nature and theologians having views as well, there's been an expansive literature developed by psychologists and biologists and anthropologists, all bearing on these same set of issues here. What I'm going to do in this unit is first lay out 5 issues out of the enormous complex of issues that can be raised about human nature, but 5 issues that philosophers have traditionally had something to say and that there have been controversies within the philosophical literature about. And also the same 5 issues that, in my judgment, have significance, great significance for educational practice. Now, when people turn their attention to issues of human nature and trying to understand ourselves, in most cases, their initial set is to see the human being as a microcosm of the macrocosm. So that is to say, what we think of the human being, right, in particular, is something that falls out of our general metaphysical approach. So, for example, if we have a more naturalistic metaphysics, that is to say, we see the universe as a natural system, as a self-governing, self-contained system, then we are more likely then to see the human being as part and parcel of the natural system, and we'll describe the human being in naturalistic terms. By contrast, if we have a religious metaphysics, that is to say, we tend to think of the universe metaphysically as divided into 2 spheres, a natural sphere and then a realm beyond the natural world, superior to a supernatural dimension. Then typically we will interpret the human being again as a microcosm, see part of our identity as being rooted in the natural order of things, but also another part of our nature, and perhaps the more significant part of our nature, as being derived from or rooted in the supernatural dimension. So that's the first issue that I've got on my list of 5 that I'm going to single out for our attention. Should we approach the study of human nature naturalistically, that is to say, see ourselves organically as part of the natural world, or do we need to understand the human being more in dualistic terms, that is to say our bodies are derived from the natural world, but our minds or our souls or our spirits are a different kind of thing altogether, and they have a non-natural metaphysical source, the supernatural dimension. Second key issue philosophers have debated and still debate that has important implications for education is if we focus on the psychological side of our nature, right, our minds or our souls or our spirits or our consciousness. I'm going to use those terms mostly interchangeably as far as this session goes. Clearly, 2 of the significant capacities for us as human beings is our rational capacity and our emotional capacity. We have the capacity for abstract thought, and that can be very sophisticated. And we also have a capacity for a very wide range of, in many cases, very intense and subtle emotions. So we have an emotional capacity and we have a rational capacity. What is the relationship between those 2? Is it the case that primarily reason is in charge and it dictates the content of our emotional states, or is it the case that our emotional lives are the things that are fundamentally in charge and have a life of their own, and that they dictate what goes on the reasoning side of our equation here? That then leads us directly to a third issue I've got on the board, talking about the relationship between the mind and the body, or more particularly the reason and the emotion. Do we characterize those relationships fundamentally as a harmonious relationship? That is to say that our minds should work with our bodies, our reason should work with our emotions, right, and vice versa. That they should be integrated, or they ultimately have the same agenda, the same approach, and so therefore should be on the same page? Or is it the case that our minds and our bodies, our reasons and our emotions, those capacities, each have their own lives, their own agendas, and that in many or most cases those are in conflict with each other. And so to be a human being then is to be fundamentally a conflict management system or conflict-driven being, and any sort of ultimate harmony, putting things together in a package is not doable.